Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. Tomorrow, a half day. Thursday, we're off. Happy July 4th and all that fun stuff. Hope you're having a good day. And let me just say, this show is serious talk about everything that affects you. We do markets, the economy, jobs, your industry, unemployment, taxes, Washington, D.C., anything that comes to mind that sleazy, slimy, scummy hands go into your wallets, we will talk about. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, you should. And if you email me, just be nice. The guy who says I suck emailed me a couple of times in the last couple of days. But that's really it. Nobody else tells me I suck anymore. This person tells me I suck because I'm a rhino. Didn't you know? I'm a Republican in name only. Well, first off, I'm an independent. I left this party a long time ago. They're not Republicans. But that's besides the point. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to flip it today. Last couple of days, I've been doing what is Biden doing to destroy the country to start the show. We're going to do markets today to start the show because the sore thumbs are just not changing. The narrowness is just not changing. What's good is getting gooder. And the question is what's bad going to get better to make things better and long last? Or is it just going to be more of the same? As we have told you, we don't mind narrow markets, as long as we're in the narrow. So let's start off number one. Today again, advanced declines on the New York were 2120, flat-ish. NASDAQ up 149, NASDAQ 100, 199. What? How can that be? Well, when the top 7 stocks of the NASDAQ 100 make up 44%, actually I think it's 46% of the NASDAQ 100, that'll do the trick. And now Tesla, which had been lagging about as badly as can be, that's coming on. So, more the same. And what do we mean by more the same? Apple, up 3.5 today. And amazingly, Apple's up 10% since that big, gigantic 11-month breakout 2.5 weeks ago. Microsoft, up 2.5 today. Microsoft's a new all-time high. Amazon, up 280 today. New all-time high to the big 200 number. Tesla announced deliveries. I didn't think they were that good. They were okay, but they beat estimates. Tesla was up $21 today, coming up the right side very quickly. By the way, sizable volume today. The semiconductor index, the SOX, up 67, holding what we consider to be the first very important support level. In the semis, Broadcom 16, ASML 14, KLA 10 Core 11, Lam Research 12, Monolithic Power 9, and then the 3, 4s, 5s, and 6s on a few of them. Not everything great, but that's the story. Has not changed. As we have stated to you, there will come a time, listen carefully, because, oh, by the way, Google up $2 today. Facebook up 5. There is going to come a time, I'm going to make a very strong statement here that I hope you're listening, where you're not going to want to own these. It is getting more narrow by the day. And remember what we explained to you, how this works. It's human nature at every level. Human nature, fear, and greed are at levels where Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob are buying 100 shares, and the big institutions, the mutual funds, the hedge funds, and the like. And what they do is they have these meetings in the morning, and they say, hey, Amazon's at all-time high, Microsoft all-time high, Apple all-time high. How much we got? And they don't care right then and there about valuations. There's still, the great liquid companies. How much we got? Because, and guess what they do? They add, and they add, and they add. That is the greed part. As you know, the other part of the greed part is the other end, where people are buying GameStop at any price because some yutz posts a picture on Twitter. Fear and greed. So we're just letting you know it didn't change today. And in fact, all day, drip, 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 drip into those names. Drip, 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 drip into those names. And I was reading today where Apple is its most ever 9-time sales or something like that. Never been there. I was reading something today where Apple right now is trading at, let's see, 270, 374, 7, let's call it 5, 650, is trading at 30 some odd times earnings with 1% earnings growth, 4% drop in sales. How can that be? It be. So we're just letting you know, not only has not changed, they accentuated it a little bit more today. Mega cap tech, semiconductors. And the semiconductors are pretty darn good off the highs as of recent. That's number one. Number two, big banks. In case you don't know, they just had a stress test. Everybody passed. We know that's a bunch of bullcrap because these stress tests are given by the people that told us inflation was transitory. But nevertheless, we're just going to report to you at the close today, Bank of America into a new yearly high today. JP Morgan into a new yearly high today. We're just reporting it to you. We'll let you decide. Bank of New York, almost new yearly high. Goldman Sachs, not there yet, but that's been stronger than most. Morgan Stanley, not there yet, but looks just fine. Big financials, big banks. The regional banks, they're even coming on a little bit, though on a relative basis, terrible. And in case you don't know, the high in the regional banks was $79 January of 22. It's $49 today. And of course, you know the reasons behind that. Leadership. That's it. That's your leadership. There's some other things. There's some other strength. We're not trying to shrug them off. But there's not a lot. And we're into groupthink here. We believe the markets are about schools of fish. And you want to find what school. And we're just letting you know. Mega cap tech. Semiconductors, by the way, not all, but go take a look. Big banks, Keep in mind, big banks will not move like a moving high-tech name. And just a few other things here and there that are on the strong side. That's your market. Narrow as all hell. On a daily basis. What was yesterday? 2-1 negative on the NASDAQ and it was still up? The small caps, the Russell 2000, still ain't budging. Therein lies your story. And if anything changes, we'll let you know. Software. That's up next. On this, the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to...
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge.
The last bastion of quality programming.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Software stocks. About, I'm going to say, a week ago, a little bit more than a week, we started saying some are starting to come on. They still are. There's really no great leadership there, but they're coming on. And what that means, it gives an opportunity to be a part of the strength. There's a couple of names like a CrowdStrike that are strong. Others are what we call coming on, doing better, showing up on our screens, coming up what we call the right side. What the hell is the right side, Gary? Well, imagine if a stock was $80 6 months ago and dropped down to 60 and then flattened out between 60 and 65, and now going up to 68, back to 65, going up to 70, back to 68. That's going up the right side. Working its way back. So some software also better. Not all. And may I state for the record, there's a lot of software stocks in really bad shape. A lot of software stocks in very bad shape. And then there's the rest of the market. And we've been highlighting it for you. Housing stocks worsened today. Restaurant stocks worsened today. A lot of retail stocks worsened today. Marijuana stocks worsened today. And I got to tell you, in the last week, the broke marijuana tout artists that have been telling you to buy for 4 years, I don't know why, but they were out in droves again last week. And they had their moment in the sun a couple of times in the last, 3 months, because Germany announced legalization, somebody else did, and boy, they ran them up for a day, and then they just clonked them in the you-know-what. So the marijuana stocks ain't working. And we pointed out why they're not working. Nobody wanted to believe us. We said, who's going to want to pay taxes? And if everybody's selling, it's going to hurt pricing. And why would you go and get it when Biff, your cousin Biff, is next door with the better stuff? So the marijuana stocks. By the way, if you want to know what we mean by risk management, you ever hear of Tilray? It's a marijuana stock. Hit a high of $300 in 2018. It's $1.65 today. That's what we mean by tout. And that's what we mean when we say to you, you guys do your homework, please. That was Tilray. Do you remember the one, what was the symbols? Canopy Growth. Hit $600. It's 6. And what was that other one? CRON, Kronos. Hit $24. It's now 2. And then there was the better one, the one that people were going nuts on, Aurora Cannabis. Just so you know, the stock went from 40 to 1,400. It's 4. So when we tell you, dudes, risk management, we mean it. When we bring up GameStop risk management, I can't begin to tell you how many emails I got after the debate that the Trump stock was going to skyrocket. It's gone from 40 to 31. And again, I have to always preface this. That is not a political statement. You know the valuation problem there. So risk management. I wasn't even going to bring that up, but I was just noticing to my left the marijuana stocks. And boy, oh boy. We'll see if the tout artists are at it again tonight. So narrow as all heck. And we seriously mean that. It's kind of getting narrower by the day. And we'll just let you know. There is going to be a point in time where these mega caps drop 50% from the highs. Not because anything is wrong, but it's because everybody was all in, neck deep, over-owned, over-loved, over-leveraged, overpriced. And I can tell you, factually, we're not there yet, because they were still at it again today. And maybe it's not for another year, maybe it's 6 months. But go back to the year 2000 and go look at the best stocks that were bought up, narrow and narrow and narrower and narrower. They all were smoked. And I can promise you, nobody's going to know what hit them. And when they're down 20%, you will hear from everybody, don't worry, it's normal correction. When they're down 40%, oh crap. Now, I don't think it's going to be a 90%er like off of the year 2000, because I got to tell you something. These companies really got game. Really got game. But once they get to their extremes, which have not been hit yet, it's going to be a 50%er. We'll be ready. It's probably going to be off of a climactic move that will look like the Space Needle on a chart, because that's how they usually do end. By the way, we own them. And we watch every day. And today again. And are we surprised? Yes. The institutions are still in there. But narrow as all heck. Now in the New York today, better, little better broad market. And I got to tell you, not much goes wrong if big banks are going into new high ground. So just add that. And that's the story of the market. I believe Friday we'll have another jobs report. I got news for you. I don't think it's a big deal. Just watch the market. We'll stay on top of it. It's the big caps. Small caps are still comatose. And every day we're looking for new names, and they're really not showing up just yet. Every day we're looking for the broader market, not showing up yet. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
Okay. I'm about to give a big compliment to an entity you're going to be very surprised by. I went to the Department of Motor Vehicles today. I thought they were fantastic here in Lake Mary, Florida. The place was bright, shiny, people were smiling, and they had a great system. Do you know when you go to the deli counter at a supermarket and you have to take a number? Well, it isn't like that, really. You go to a person who gives you a number, the greeter, like at Walmart, and you have TVs that show, and then they announce you to go up, and they had like 15 different little places where people were, like toll takers, and it went smooth as all heck. It was fantastic. I don't think I really ever mentioned the Department of Motor Vehicles. I know others whine and complain about them. I'm just letting you know, here in Lake Mary, Florida, good job. I was really impressed. Good to compliment a little bit of government, right? Next, the things I see. We do a little bit of our own little what we call channel checks. No, we don't have 300 analysts go out to all these places, but we do think we have a pretty decent feel. We've made some quite good calls here throughout the years, just on small samplings. You remember years ago, I got on radio and said Kmart South, Target and Walmart North. And I described for you what was going on at Kmart. That you walked in, it was dingy, dirty, shelves were empty, nobody was there to help you. You walk into Target, you got the bright red and stuff, and it's really bright in there, really nice, and the shelves are all clean and everything. And then Walmart, you got the greeter and whatever. Well, the Kmart's gone, and Target and Walmart are thriving, though Target's had their issues. Costco. Wow. Have you ever walked into a Costco or a Sam's Club and wonder how the hell do they do inventory control with all that? Just remember, you walk into a store, you buy your stuff, you walk out. Great. Do you ever think about what they have to go through to fill that store and get the right amount of things, especially in the supermarket sections? Think about that. And they have to have somewhat of a divisor on how much food is not going to be sold and they got to throw out or hopefully give away to homeless or people that need food. I don't know exactly how that works. I think it's amazing. And Costco stock is kicked you know what. And of course, Sam's Club is a part of Walmart. A lot of people don't think about that. We look at all this stuff. And we'll visit the Home Depot, see how business is, what's selling, what's not selling. Get a good feel. And that's why I'm on Zillow every day right now and Realtor.com. We're looking at homes across the country. And you know what we're seeing? Markdowns. And you know what we're seeing? Big inventory showing up. And you know what we're seeing? A lot of pending that never get done. Now, I don't know how long that lasts or how far it goes. And may I state for the record, especially on the high end, they're putting up things in Fantasyland. And what do I mean by Fantasyland? And we're not trying to act elitist. We're trying to give you an idea of the lay of the land. We've seen people put up homes for $7 million. That was 3 years ago. That crap ain't getting sold. So we'll keep you abreast of the situation on that because that's going to be muy importante. And do you know why? Because we think homeowners have felt the goodness of the wealth effect. And if it goes the other way, they're going to feel the badness of the wealth effect, and that could affect the consumer going forward. So we watch that. Oh, and yes, we watch the 200,000 and the 300,000 also, but we're just getting a feel from top down. So there's a lot that we're really on top of every single day, and not just in our area. It's everywhere. Big cities, we're looking at small cities. I was looking at Raleigh, North Carolina yesterday. Holy crap! The prices for houses in Raleigh, North Carolina are insane. I thought it was Beverly Hills. But guess what's happening now? Lots of inventory. And people see lots of inventory, and realtors tell the sellers lots of inventory, and realtors tell the sellers, well, you ain't selling at that price anymore because there's 10 others on the block. You're going to have to lower your price. And the first person that lowers the price, well, the second person follows, and third, fourth, and then you get the other side. So just letting you know, we're on top of that. And then the Starbucks is down 30% here. We went to another Starbucks down 25%, and they all say the same thing, price. And it's going on in different areas. And of course, you know about the fast food companies are lowering prices and doing all kinds of deals. I got news for you. They're not generous people. They're not doing it because they're sweet. They're doing it because they know they have to. People are price conscious now. And when all of a sudden it was out there how much it costs for fast food versus 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, there was a whole like holy crap moment, and they had to respond. So we're watching all this, and there's a reason why McDonald's stock is croaking. And by the way, I think there's a reason why the stronger restaurant stocks are now croaking also. Bunch just topped out in the last week. Chipotle just broke the 50-day moving average. That's been a sweetheart. And there's a big thing going on with Chipotle now about how much food they're serving in different places across the country. Some people went out there on Instagram or TikTok and weighed the food, and some were this and some was that, and there's a big thing going on there. I have to get double chicken instead of single because of how little they give in some of the Chipotle restaurants. Little bit of that going on. So we'll keep you on top of it as we move forward. But most importantly, we watch the stocks, and it remains narrow as all heck. Semiconductors, big tech, big banks, software coming on, but not really big leadership yet. And a bunch of areas just, how do we say it? Futzing around. Oh, and now Tesla coming on, though they're going to have to prove with their numbers. By the way, there's a new thing going on at Tesla, and that's these robotics and energy thing. Go read about it. Hasn't really paid to bet against Elon Musk. By the way, he put out a tweet today that said, you want to short sale our stock, or you're going to get buried. Whether that happens or not beats the heck out of me, but it's a guy I wouldn't bet against too often. May I state that for the record? Elon Musk, man. Once in a generation. Seriously. And I know he's got the little quirks and stuff, but we're talking once in a generation person. Got to hand it to him. Got to learn from it. And that's a little bit of this, that, and the other thing of what's going on in the markets. And as we always say, if anything changes, we'll let you know. That's what we're best at, because we keep a big eye on the movement and what's going on. Up next, news of the day, whatever else today. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to...
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Hey, in the news. I did a little bit of a deeper dive into this immunity thing that came out of the Supreme Court. I don't know what people are complaining about. This immunity thing is for anybody who is president, Republican or Democrat. And last I looked, Biden's the president. Huh. Of course, everybody's got to make everything into a case, so it's an election year. Maybe it's me. Hey, in the news. LA County, now let's talk about Los Angeles. Part of California running massive debt and massive deficits. Let's see how this works out. They aim to eliminate medical debt for 150,000 residents. Interested in see how that works out. Eliminate debt. A government eliminating medical debt. Now, if you have that debt and it gets eliminated, I guess that's good for you, but where is that money coming from? If you owe debt to, let's say, a hospital, let's say you owe $5,000. Government comes in and says, we're eliminating that debt. That means the hospital doesn't get that money, right? Or are they paying the hospital? But whose money are they paying the hospital with? Oh, that's right, the taxpayer. This is what we mean by rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, taxes, giveaways, and control. They do it with other people's money, OPM. And you're supposed to thank them because you don't see it really coming out of your pocket. And they've created so much debt that it's just a footnote when Biden forgives $150 billion. In the news, in case you don't know, In the Sudan, 750,000 are on the brink of starvation because of a devastating civil war brought on by the creeps running it. And I'm not seeing any protests on the street against the people running Sudan. Isn't that quite interesting? But the Jews. And there's been more and more attacks on Jews. The good news is 99.something% of the people are not racist anti-Semite schmucks. The bad news is these are the people that are out there and get on video. Of course, they only go in packs and they wear masks. They wouldn't dare them one by one because I got news for you. There's going to come a point where the Jewish victims of these people are going to kick some arse, and they're not going to know what hit them. Just letting you know. In the news, we warned you on this too. McDonald's says its plant-based burger test has failed. That their customers are not demanding fake meat. Boy, we had no idea about that. Because people want to go to McDonald's and eat plants. I could have told the people of McDonald's, don't ever put plant-based anything in your McDonald's. But everybody's got to try something here, something there, something this, something that. Anyway, we warned you about Beyond Meat as they were sending that stock sky high. I think that hit around $200, maybe even higher, back in 20. It's under $7 now. Just sometimes you got to just think logically. What's the market for that? What's the market? You walk into Peter Luger's in New York or Del Frisco's in New York. Yeah, give me the plants. It just doesn't work that way. And in case you don't know, sales big time down for Beyond Meat, losing a ton of money. I gather they'll stay a going concern, but how I don't know. And again, sometimes you just got to ask yourself some logical questions. And we just told you in its heyday, this thing ain't lasting. And we're not trying to put down plants. It's just logic. And I still remember back, it was maybe 2001. No, it was before that. It was in the 90s. Barron's, I think it was the front cover, did a thing about sell your Outback Steakhouse stock because nobody wants to eat meat anymore. That was the thing going on for about a year. And I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, I live in Boca Raton at the time, and there was an Outback Steakhouse on this Southwest 18th Street in this little strip shopping center. You couldn't get in on a Wednesday. I think the stock went up tenfold after that. Again, sometimes, and by the way, we're not advocating meat here, we're just giving you some facts. Just letting you know. Next, when you have a chance, go get Roger Federer's graduation speech that he did at Dartmouth College. Just had to mention that. We loved this guy's speech. And I've been going to Wimbledon every year just because of Federer. So good. But he's retired. Nadal looks like he's done. Djokovic is the last of. And I think he's getting probably a couple of years. End of unbelievable era in tennis. Three people, just dominating. We're never ever going to see that again. These three. Amazing. Just amazing. And last but not least in the news, the election. As we have stated, it's a binary choice. And as we have stated, we can't have another 4 years on purpose of open borders, massive debt and deficits. amongst a few other things. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. Tomorrow and Thursday, Best of Gary. We're going to have our part 1 and part 2 of our bear market, describing bear markets for you and how they work shows. We'll be back Friday. Have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Peace out all. Stay well. Be well. Good night.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.